I'm Rachel, and here with me is Missy Ayotte and Lauren Johnson, and we are here doing a little chat with you all called Becoming a Lightworker. And I invited Missy and Lauren to, or asked them if they would be willing to join me for this talk about what they've done in their own lives to just really step out into their sharing their light, moving through fears, moving through doubts, as we've all have done, um, to start make this a livelihood, make this what they do. And of course, they're probably very sick of me by now because they've been listening. They've been in the Intuitive Guide Soulful Work Method program with me. Well, it's ended now, but they were with me for it seemed like almost a year, since January 2021. And I've gotten to know both of them quite well and just love them dearly. So thank you both for being here. So I'm going to ask them to share. Maybe you each could just, one of you could start and then just share a little about yourself and, what you do, I guess. And maybe you could share a little bit about what you've done to move past any um, any of that ego stuff to step into sharing your light and sharing your gifts with those who need it.
I welcome going first.
Yay!
I am Missy Ayotte. I'm a shamanic Reiki practitioner, intuitive healer, and spiritual guide. I started this journey, I started doing energy healing in 2009. And my pastor told me it was the devil hiding himself in light. So it kind of dimmed my light for a while as I navigated. I was in a management position in 2019. I lost that job, but I now know it was meant to be. If you don't take steps, sometimes people will push you into the right direction to take the steps you need. So I started by taking my Reiki master class, and during that I received a healing and an attunement that opened up my intuition and my connection to spirit. Practicing Christian for many years, I never had this connection I have now, and it's really beautiful. But fear gets in your way when you're on this journey. How am I going to make money doing this? Can I really do this? And I figured out that when I was in the right direction and making steps towards my goal to be a light worker, I was guided, I was held, and the right people came in my path, the right classes. Rachel, I had been in several of your classes on this journey that got me started. I went to your retreat at Shiloh Farm that was opening to me there. And I just believe that everybody gets placed in your path when you're on your journey, your soul's journey, where you're meant to go. It takes courage to do this work because you have to do your own inner work. When you seek the light, darkness is there too, and you've got to do your shadow work on this journey. And I think that's the hardest part, but you can't work with people if you're not willing to do your own work. Last year, despite what's going on in the world and everything being closed off, I decided to leave my full-time position with benefits to start my business. And it's been pretty successful. It's not perfect, still finding my way, but I believe your class that I took kind of sealed that deal for me as far as what other things I was going to add to my forte on this journey.
Yeah, beautiful. You've had some really amazing stories of just you. I remember you told me that you talked about your vibration and like when our vibration is high, how like people just come to us, clients, and when it's off, things are. And you've had some crazy things happen,
Oh
right?
yeah. anytime if I did a retreat or a shamanic journey, a shamanic retreat, or I did a grow a new body, or I did this detox and fasting. And what I come to realize is that when my vibration is high and I'm connected to the light, to spirit, to God, everything aligns for me. I was at a shamanic retreat and I got 5 messages for appointments. And I'm like, okay, so when I'm doing my work, that's when I get my clients. When I have my low moments, because when you do this, you have your low moments still. I'm still on my healing path. I just had a session 2 weeks ago. I still keep track of my triggers, but when I'm in my low vibration, all of a sudden the clients die off. So it's been kind of cool that I know I need to keep my vibration high and do my work to keep it there.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Let's talk more. I want to hear more because you have so many cool stories and so many gifts to share. And one of them being I got to experience a few things with you, a shamanic journey that you did for the Soulful Work community when we met our spirit animal, which is amazing. And then you guided us in a workshop at a retreat, which was Coalimpia. That was what it's called?
Yeah.
Right? It was like
Yes.
working with stones and doing and energy healing on the
Yeah.
beach. Right. Lauren was
Clearing
there.
energy.
Coolest
So we
thing
get
ever.
energy in our luminous energy field stuck to us and we carry it around and it's kind of heavy. And so anybody can, it's a shamanic practice of clearing that out. And so, yeah, teaching you guys was wonderful. And on the beach was perfect.
And what I love, just what that I've learned from you, and because you have different things, you do it a little bit differently than I do it. You do more shamanism, like you said, and Reiki, and we all, and Lauren, we're gonna go to you in a minute. We all have what's been so really interesting for me to watch both of you and other people the program just kind of take some of the things we were learning, but integrate it into yourself, and then have it come out in a unique way that is your soul expressing its unique gifts. And it's really amazing, right? How we each are guided to do that, to be of service. Laura, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your journey and what's worked for you and whatever you want to share?
Sure. My name is Lauren Johnson. In 2006, I went to massage therapy school, got my massage license. So I've been an active massage therapist since 2006. And I did the work for many years, but it burnt me out. It was just hours and hours and hours of just massage one after another. But touching people and being in their energetic field, I didn't know what it was when I was like a 20-year-old, just getting all these messages that would come through, but I didn't understand them. But after a while, it just burnt me out. And then I became a machinist, an active machinist for 10 years. And for some reason, body work and spiritual work kind of hold me back in for some reason. And that's when I found Rachel, and I took her tarot card class and took several other classes from her, and then got involved with the program. And it's been very, very eye-opening. A lot of information, a lot of inner work. Like, it's beautiful, it can be ugly. It's like moving these building blocks around. And even just something as simple as meditation is probably the most incredible thing I've ever done. Meditation, after that, writing down, like lots and lots of writing is huge. And Rachel, in her program, she teaches you all these tools, how to use them. So not only are you learning, you're working on yourself, you're clearing out egos, you're clearing out negative talk, you're clearing out all this stuff, but it's ushering in a better you and just light, and just not to be afraid of it, not to be afraid of what's beyond you, because there's beautiful things out there. There's light, there's stability, there's clarity, and just infinite wisdom you can really tap into and learn from. And I haven't quite set up my practice yet, but I plan on it. But I'm not one to act real quick. I need to kind of process it and kind of figure out what it's going to look like. So I hope to do an intuitive massage or intuitive body work, because I find that I most get more messages when I'm actually touching somebody. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
And tell us the name of your business, because it's like the best name ever.
Well, it's funny. It's called Sage and Sawdust because my mother is a woodworker, and I've always been around woodworkers and sawmills, and it just, for some reason, it just rings with me. So Sage and Sawdust.
It's so cool. I mean, and you have we were talking about this before, that you have such a unique background. You've been a machinist for 10 years. And one thing we were saying, Missy brought it up, and we were both, echoing that, for a lot of people, there's this view of like a stereotype of what a spiritual person is. It's like, somebody who is going to yoga every day and dresses a certain way, and it kind of can seem a little bit elitist and almost pretentious. And one of what we were talking about is that's the old way. Like, that is gone. We don't have time for that kind of stuff. The people, no matter who you are, we all have this beautiful light within us and these souls within us, and we don't need to go around saying, like, this is what I do, and I meditate and do whatever. We don't need to preach it out loud the way that somebody else does it, because we see somebody else do it. We think it has to be that way. So I think for you, it's just such a beautiful, your background is so unique, and you're going to be able to touch so many people that may not have felt that spirituality or doing intuitive work or any of this or healing was even accessible for them. So it's really, I don't know.
And the thing is,
yeah.
The incredible thing is, anybody is capable of doing this. Anybody. You could be as tough as you want. You can be as holy as you want. You can be anywhere. We're all spiritual beings. It's all up to if you want to use it or not, or if you want to listen to it. And you can't force it. You can't force meditation. You can't force this stuff. And you'll get to it on your own when you're like, yes, I'm ready to do this. I'm going to at least try it. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really that attitude that you just said is just being open and just say, I'm going to try it. And I'm going to, step up and say, yes, I am willing to be of service. Because we know, and feel free to chime in, Missy, anytime. We know when when we're being asked to do something. How do we know? Because things come up over and over. It's like we're being pushed in a certain direction, and we can fight it as much as we want. But at a certain point, like it's like, wow, something's guiding me to really like step into what my soul, we're needed now. People need help. It's crazy out there. They need to understand. A lot of people don't understand what's happening. And what's happening, as you all, of course, know, that we're going through this major energetic shift on Earth. We're going through this awakening. We're seeing the shadows. We're seeing the darkness. And in order for people not to think the world is going to hell in a handbasket, like this dystopian nightmare, it's actually, we're unplugging from 3D, but we need to see it, and how to, and to really unplug from it and free ourselves. And so the more of us that can help people in healing from the trauma, from sickness, from all the division, from the feeling ostracized or feeling confused, or like all the things, and to really step into their light and have a really strong spiritual practice, that is what is going to bring us forward in healing as a collective human race. In my belief.
I think of our first day in class when you asked me what everybody what we were going to do with the class. And I said that I'm going to be a spiritual guide, which had nothing to do necessarily with what the class, what I signed up for, but I was guided that that's what I was going to be doing. I didn't even know what it meant at the time. And 2 days later, I got a phone call from someone looking for a Reiki teacher and a spiritual guide. They used that exact term. And so I knew that I was on the right path. You know, like there's just signs that are there. It's amazing. I think my other favorite story is when I took my advanced shamanic healing training, we did energy extractions. And I went, oh, this is nice, but it's nothing I'm going to be doing. But the universe tells you differently. It was like in 2 months time frame, I had 9 clients that had entity attachments on them. And I'm, you know, like, I didn't think it was anything I was going to do. I was like, yeah, great. I learned it. But sometimes the universe has universe has a plan for you. You just got to connect to it. And you'll get the messages and the validations about what work and what are your gifts.
Yeah. And sometimes we can say no, right? We can say we have free will to be like, no, thanks,
Yeah.
but it's gonna keep coming back to us. And there's no, we can. Don't worry. There's not like we get one chance and it's done. It'll keep coming back.
Yeah.
Is there anything? So I think there's a few people here listening. And by the way, if you have any questions you want to ask Lauren or Missy, please feel free to do that. Is there anything that you feel was holding you back at one point about putting yourself out there and saying to people like, here I am, this is what I do, and by the way, I'm hoping you can pay me for it, because that can be a big block for people of stepping into our light. Is there anything that helped you? And we're still working on it, right? I'm sure we're all still working on that.
Mm-hmm.
But is there anything that really helped you move past that type of fear or doubt? Or it doesn't have to be just about that, but any big sort of block? Is there anything that you did, maybe in the program, maybe elsewhere in your life, that you'd want to share with people?
I had a lot of fear around doing my website. So I've done 2. As you guys can see, it's been interchanging. For me, that was a trauma trigger, that childhood trauma, not feeling good enough, being judged and criticized, fear of putting yourself out there. It's really kind of around healing that wound and rebuilding a new story. And I do that through shamanic healings. I remove that trauma trigger and refill it with a new story. And I think what I found very interesting about your class was the work I was learning does the exact same thing.
Yeah. So
it was like really kind of cool how I'm now integrating that into my sessions.
Yeah. And the website is a huge deal, because it's like a stepping out of the closet, right? It's like, here I am, and it's really, and we make it to be this big deal, but it honestly really isn't, because it's just, it can be like name, service, how to get in touch with me, like literally not much of anything, but like with anything, sometimes these words, business, website. For me, I've been working on a book, so book, yeah, like I don't know how to do that. How am I ever going to do that? And so the fact that you recognize that it was connected to old stuff is huge, because I don't think we think of that it is, but it really it is, and it's past lives. Like there's a lot.
Yeah.
And you did it, right? So I mean, you did
it.
It's huge. Yeah. How about you, Lauren? Anything that's coming up as we're talking?
Yeah. The biggest thing for me was working through my ego and working through getting judged for doing this work. And then my ego being like, well, you're phony and you can't do this. Like, is this going to be helpful to somebody? Are you going to cause more harm than good? Like, what does that look like? And then working through that and like reframing it. And so there was times where I kind of tried to get away from this, but it kept coming back right in my face. Like, no, you're not going anywhere. This is what we're doing. You're staying right here. It's like, oh, okay. And then being confident in what you're doing and being brave enough to be like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And this is how I'm doing it. And this is how I'm being guided to do it, and listening to it and just owning it.
Yeah. You know, I was in school myself, and I remember when you mentioned confidence. I think that is so, so, so important because the confidence contributes to our vibration. And when my ego used to tell me, you don't know enough, it would say, you don't know enough to help anybody. Why would anybody want to listen to you? You don't know what you're talking about. Like, and so that ego voice, like, it didn't go away. I would deal with it. But then when I went back to school, and you guys got a lot of stuff, a lot of information in the program. You're doing, you were working. Oh, somebody posted something. That's great. I'm gonna read it in a minute. It's like, you know what? That's not true. Actually, I do know. I know because I've learned all these skills and I've worked on stuff, and so it's like that's a way to, for me at least, it was a huge thing because it was like that voice turned off because it was not true. Just like, that's not true. I do know enough to start. So let me just read you what Julia said. So she's actually signed up for the program. I can say that because she just wrote this for this year. She said, I'm really excited about this program. I don't really know how I found myself here, but I know that I'm meant to be facing my fears and evolving. So exciting, Julia. Do you guys have any advice for Julia? Taking out some work. Don't worry. It's not as much as it's going to be. Sorry, you guys suffered a little more than she will.
Just stick with it. And if you get stuck with an assignment, move forward. I struggled to move forward with assignments. I like to do things chronologically, and if I had an assignment that I kind of struggled with, it kind of held me up. So I say put it aside and move on to the next one.
Yeah. That's a good point because I think sometimes if there's a trigger or if there's a ego fear that comes up, then sometimes we just brakes put on.
Yeah.
And certainly with this past year, it was one of the craziest years ever to be doing anything. And the fact that you both like made it through is huge, like huge. A lot of people just stop, really doing anything. So, Julia says, LOL. How about you, Lauren? Do you have any advice?
I do. Just be gentle with yourself. Take your time and just do what feels right. Like if you're stuck in a spot, you're like, oh man, I can't do this right now. Do another assignment or and then come back to it when you're ready. So just be gentle with yourself. This stuff, it's not easy sometimes and it takes time. And to rush it, you won't be doing yourself any justice to rush. So
Yeah.
be gentle, take your time, and meditate if you get stuck, or write. I used to write like a crazy woman during class. Whatever you got to do.
Mm-hmm. And some people have, I've had some clients recently who they say, that word right, can really be a trigger because we've heard, we were in school, like the right, always being forced to write or being told we're not good at something. And so I've been saying to people, don't call it right, just call it scribble, get your thoughts out, scribble it out on paper to get it out of you and to help process it. Like, just like, I don't even like to call it meditate or I don't even call it art. Just calling it different words can help us move through some of that stuff.
That was me you told that to.
Did I say that? I've said it to a lot of people too.
Really? Yeah, I've always had a fear of putting my thoughts on paper. Yet I could find something I wrote years ago and I would read it and I'd go, I wrote that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was spirit speaking through me sometimes.
Yeah. And I think it's almost 8. So I think what you just said there is so important, which is honestly, all we're doing is like getting out of the way. just getting our ego out of the way and just saying, okay, spirit, whatever, whatever you want to call it, that's divine, that divine source. Here I am. I'm stepping up. Here I like, help me out, please. I'm doing this. I said, yes, I'm doing this thing. Please make it work for me. And, and you all did that so beautifully, because this is not easy. It is not easy to start a business and share, a spiritual business. And it's not just like going up and opening a t-shirt shop. It's like, it is yourself. You're sharing yourself and who you are. And that takes an incredible amount of courage. So I just want to honor both of you and everybody else who's been in this program who isn't here tonight, but maybe listening. Your friends, our friends, that it really does. It's probably one of the hardest things to do, I think, in someone's life. So yeah. So thank you so much to you both for being here. And before we wrap up, I'm going to tell people a little bit about how this program and how they can find it. They already know because I've been talking about it. But can you guys tell people about how people can find you if they want to get services from you, if they want to see you or just want to learn more about you?
Well, I just finished my new website with my name, MissyAyotte.com. It has all my services listed on it. I also have 2 free classes coming up in January. One is Intro to Reiki. It's really the beginning hour and a half of one of my Reiki classes. And if you decide to go on, you could sign up. I'm going to do an online Reiki class, and I am going to do an in-person Reiki class 2 weeks after that. And then Trusting Your Intuition is another free online class that I'm offering. I also practice at a Presence of Mind Wellness Center, hence why I've kind of navigated away from upper level healing and did it in my own name because I'm kind of under their umbrella right now too. So I'm at Presence of Mind Wellness Center.
And where is that located?
In Arundel.
Arundel, Maine. Okay.
Yeah.
I highly recommend checking out Missy. She's very gifted. She is very gifted. And I have the website here. I have your website here on the link. So you guys, if anybody wants to check it out, it's right there. Lauren, how can people find you if they want to check you out? You're ready. It's time. They're coming.
I need to get my thumb out of my ass and do a website, and even just something simple like on Facebook or on Instagram. But for right now, you can catch me in the bio. It's laurenj026@gmail.com. That's pretty much it for right now. This is just me dragging my feet around the holidays, blah blah blah. And yes, I'll get my ass in gear very soon.
And Laura, so intuitive massage, right? Is what you can offer people, and Akashic records.
Yes, I'm doing Akashic records, and I am diving into tarot cards, and I do need some practice people, so I'm gonna throw that out there too.
Yeah, so you guys might be able to get some good deals. Hey, Lynette. Lynette's here. Nice to see you, Lynette. Yay. So, all right. And if those of you who are listening are feeling inspired after hearing Missy and Lauren's stories, you're welcome to join me for another 10 months. And starting in January, the early bird rate ends at the solstice, which is Tuesday, the 21st, 12/21/21. Very powerful day, very powerful number. And then this program starts January 27th, I think, and we go for 10 months. And we're learning how to, like they said, moving through the ego, doing intuitive life coaching, how to move through our inner child, learning a lot of tools, practicing meditation, and you learn how to do guided imagery for people. And that's the big bulk of it is in the beginning. And then you learn how to read the Akashic records, which is so amazing, so cool. Just it's life changing for me. It has been. It's one of the greatest gifts we can give people to help them learn about their soul and their purpose and who they've been in past lives, and just looking deeper into what's happening in their life and why it's happening. And then the last 3 months, you learn how to start a business, which is, how do you start a business? It's like that's where a lot of this stuff comes up. But it's that, they know my approach or my belief is really all about vibration and aligning our vibration. Yes, using some of those tools, marketing, working through money limiting beliefs, learning some practical stuff about how to start a website, search engine optimization, social media stuff. And so different, you'll be reading different books, you'll be doing practice sessions. It's a commitment. It is there's a time investment for sure. So see if it feels right. I've already talked to a few of you. It's time. All right. Thank you all so much, ladies, for being here. And thank you all who are here listening and who might be listening later for showing up. We'll have to do this again. This is fun. I haven't done this before, but I like doing it. So
I liked it.
yeah, it was cool. It's fun.
Yeah.
All right.
I like it. Thank you.
Much love. Thank you all for being here. Hang out 1 second, the two of you, but I'm gonna end the live video. Okay. Take care, everyone. Many blessings. Bye. And I think it's ending.